Hello.
Yes, I can hear you now. I can hear you now, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
So we start.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. It's another edition of your favorite webinar, Agric Inspire, and I'm privileged to be your host again. Today in this webinar is an amazing man, an amazing beekeeper, an apiculturist, and he's willing to share with us from his wealth of knowledge how we can, explore the world of the bee and see how we can maximize this. So get ready. Invite all your friends, invite your families, get seated, get your popcorn beside you, and enjoy the ride. Okay, sir, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah.
So the floor is open for you. We're talking about bees.
Okay.
Bees.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be in your midst today. My name is Emmanuel Ube. I'm an agriculturist. And today we'll talk about the amazing world of bees and beekeeping. Are you there?
We are hearing you. Continue.
Okay. So as we know, bees are very essential to human survival. Apart from the economic benefits, bees are necessary for the maintenance of biodiversity. Bees are responsible for pollination of over 85% of crops. Bees are responsible for the pollination of 95% of wild plants. So right now, according to Albert Einstein, he said many years ago that if the bees are removed from the planet Earth, that mankind has only 4 years to live. So as a result, we need to cherish these bees and find every effort to make sure that we protect them for our own benefit. Globally, bees are responsible for pollination. And you can believe me that for some time now, most of the pollinators are going into extinct. Bees are the only surviving pollinating agents. And for our agriculture to be sustainable, we need bees around. The products of bee, like for instance, honey, pollen, propolis, oil, jade, and people have economic and medicinal values. And therefore, over here, our people have not been able to tap the benefit of these products. So it is necessary for us to go into beekeeping. Apart from the environmental conservation advantages, it is also good for economic activities. Globally, bees contribute about $250 billion to the economy. In Nigeria alone, Nigeria imports honey worth over $2 billion. You can check it. The statistics are there. $2 billion worth of honey every year. And we consume about 400 tons of honey annually and produce less than 10% of this consumption. So you can see the gap is so huge that anybody that is going into beekeeping will make it. So other people are producing honey, but African honey, especially our own, is 100% organic because over here, we don't feed our bees with anything. They rely on the natural nectar. And comparatively, if you compare bee with other agricultural activity, you will know that beekeeping is very cheap to start, very easy, and less labor intensive compared with other agricultural practices. The only challenge we have is that a lot of people are scared to go into beekeeping because of these things. But as a professional beekeeper, when you are fully trained, bees become your friend. Very difficult for them to attack you. So the need for us to be trained has become imperative. And that is why we are using this opportunity to create awareness for our people to start beekeeping. It is very lucrative. A box, a hive of a honey bee can give you over 20 liters of honey. Currently, a liter of honey is worth over 15,000 naira. And if you have it, the money is there for you. And good thing about bee product is that they hardly get spoiled. Good honey can stay for 3,000 years. It has no expiring date. Quality honey can stay for a very long time. So the advantages are so enormous. The first thing we need to do when we want to go into beekeeping is now site selection. Normally, some people can keep bees close to their houses. But now that we are staying in the town, you discover that we keep bees. Trees are not available mostly in the town. Although in some country, that's what we call urban beekeeping, where bees are kept in the rooftops, where you have trees all around. But I advise that you keep bees closer to your farm, where they will have food source, nectar for their feeding, because bees feed on flower nectar. And they depend on this flower nectar to produce this honey. The bees visit this nectar and they suck the nectar to produce honey for us. And if a beekeeper, I need to place your hive close to a source of nectar, trees, flowers, where they can go collect this nectar and convert it to honey. So the site is very important. You keep, if you have a very large compound, you can keep it in your compound where you have enough trees. But we advise that you keep it places where it will not, be disturbed. They need a very quiet place. They need a place that have enough nectar, flowering plants, so that they can produce this honey for us. So the first thing is site selection. By the time you get this site and it is good, you get your hive. The beehive can be constructed with wood. In some countries, they use mud. Some places, they use plastic. But the best here, we can use the wood. And it is not all type of wood that bees live or will prefer to stay in. So we select certain wood, like here we have Iroko, we have Achi, we have Oba, we have Malaina. These are some of the trees the bees will love to stay with, they stay in. So by the time you get your hive fully constructed by a professional, you now place it in a place that is cool, preferably in your bush or your farm or anywhere that is calm, and put your bee attractant. The attractant is something that attracts the bees to your hive. And the moment the bee comes in, they start to work immediately, going to look for nectar, water, and other things to produce this honey for you. Compare with other forms of agriculture, where you now use feed your bees, give them drugs, do so many things to make them survive, protect them. In the aspect of beekeeping, hello? 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 So the beekeeping industry in Nigeria is underutilized. As such, once you set this your farm, the next thing is attracting the bees to the hive. Once the bees are attracted, your work has finished. So the next step is for the bees to come in and begin to produce the honey for you. And a good hive can stay for up to 10 years. And it doesn't have maintenance practices, unlike other aspects of agriculture, where you do one form of maintenance or the other. The rest of the job will be done by the bees. So as such, once the hive is colonized, as a beekeeper, you have little or no more things to do in the hive. So what you now do is now wait for the time of harvesting. And when you harvest honey, just the dry season, when the flowers are in abundance. Over here, the rains affect flowers, and that's why most start to harvest during the dry season. We have equipment. The major equipment we use is the overall and the bee smoker, the hive tool, and other items that can be used for harvesting purposes. So in this process, you harvest your honey, put it in a container, and send it to a processing room where you will now extract it and package and bottle. And apart from beekeeping, apart from honey, sorry, there are other products that are of high economic value, like the pollen, and the beeswax. So this wax now, a kg of wax now over here is about 15,000. So, and the market for it is very high. The wax has over 350 industrial uses. It is used, but over the world, globally, the pharmaceutical companies use about 80% of the world production of wax. People can use it for
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I think a lot of persons are having difficulty hearing you. They are saying that if you can remove your earpiece, then we can hear you better.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are you there?
Yes, we can hear you better now. Thank you.
Hello?
We can hear you better now. Thank you.
Okay, it's better now.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So I don't know where, should I reverse back or let me continue my thoughts. Hello? Hello?
Yes, you can start from the introduction again. Okay, so that everyone can follow. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. So as I was saying, I say beekeeping is an art and science of keeping bees for man's economic benefits. And globally, bees contributes about $250 billion to the world economy. Bees are responsible for the conservation and protection of the environment. So as you can see, apart from keeping these bees for our economic value, the environmental and biodiversity benefits of bees cannot be quantified. That is why globally, beekeepers are known as pollinators. Bees are responsible for pollination of over 85% of all agricultural activities and 95% of all wild plants. And that is why most scientists have predicted that if the bees get into extinction, that it will take mankind only 4 years to survive this world. Because no bees, no pollination. And where there's no pollination, there's no food. The food chain will be distorted. So you can see the good advantage of keeping bees, apart from the products. Now, when we come to economic aspect, we have 6 products like royal jelly, bee venom, bee propolis, bee wax, honey. These are very medicinal aspects, very important products of bees that are of economic benefit to us. But the one we are mostly concerned here is the honey. A lot of people are familiar with honey. They associate honey with bees. But other products are quite more expensive than honey because of the medicinal and industrial use. So that is why we are using this opportunity to encourage us to go into bee farming, because the importance of bees and beekeeping cannot be overemphasized. Globally, like I said, bee contributes about $250 billion to the world economy. And in Nigeria here, bees, honey, for instance, honey in Nigeria consumes about 400 tons of honey annually. And we import honey worth over $2 billion. So with this, you will know that the gap between our consumption and import is so huge. And therefore, we need more beekeepers. We produce only 10% of our total annual honey consumption. In fact, we consume only 10% of the entire honey. For instance, let me just go back. I mean, the total production of our honey in Nigeria is less than 10% out of the 400,000 tons consume annually. So you saw that, and that is the need for us going into beekeeping. Even now in Nigeria is so centralized. Compared with other aspects of agriculture, fish farming, beekeeping, just and you have your training experience. When you are properly trained, you go into beekeeping fully. So the job of beekeeping, the first aspect is site selection. You need to select a place that is conducive. The bees love a quiet place, devoid of noise, a place that is not wooded. So once you identify a good place with shade, you expose the sun. It should be under shade. It should protect the hive from and so on. At the end of the day, once you get a hive, of course, a hive is constructed by a professional. But once you are into it properly, with time, you get to produce your own hive. Like I said earlier, you don't use all type of food for hive making. Over here, we have some selected wood, like we have like achi, iroko, and so many of them. Banana, they are good wood for hive production. There are some wood that we don't use it. Bees will not even come in to have the hive. So the moment you get this hive done, place hive in the right place. Most people place it in their homes. For those who have very large compound in the villages, some of us are living in the town. I know the land space is compacted somehow. So it is advisable we keep it a place where you have good nectar. You know, bees feed on flower nectar to produce honey. Over here, we don't feed our bees like some European bees and American bees where they don't sugar syrup and molasses. Our honey here is 100% organic. That is why it is very expensive. That is why it is very nutritious. That is why it's very high in demand all over the world. So the moment you set your hive and bees come in there, your job has finished. There's no other maintenance apart from harvesting. The regular maintenance is making sure you don't have ants around, making sure people don't go around to disturb the bees. Our bees are very aggressive. If you compare with European American bees that are calm, our own is highly temperamental. If you don't take time, you can get injured or even death can occur. African bees are very aggressive. And that is why we need to be properly trained before you go into beekeeping as a hobby or as a business. It's a professional area that requires training. So you don't make mistakes when handling bees. Safety is very important. So the demand for bee products all over the world is very high, especially organic honey and bee products. We are lucky over here. Our bees are not easily associated with some of the common diseases. There's a disease now that is ravaging the whole world about killing bees everywhere, killing colonies. It is called varroa mite. This mite transmits about 18 viruses to the honeybees, and in the process, kill the colony. But the varroa mite here is available here, but it doesn't harm our bees, and we don't use chemical. Like in Israel, for instance, most beekeepers use a chemical called amitraz to reduce the to kill the varroa mite. But here we don't use chemical, and that's why our honey here is very organic, and it's of high demand, and we don't feed. When you give bees sugar, that feeding is sugar solution, water and sugar. When you feed bees with sugar, they give you back sugar. So that is why we don't feed our bees here. And for you to get organic honey, the bees have to feed on natural nectar. So your hive has to be kept in a place where we have good vegetation. And that vegetation, recently now, beekeepers are being encouraged to plant up trees. We are destroying our environment. And when you destroy this environment, you are destroying the habitats of the bees. So we encourage people to keep the bees and also plant trees. Planting trees will also produce enough nectar and food base for these bees. So once the bees enter the hive, your job is minimal. You wait for the harvesting period. Normally, assuming we set our hive, this is May. Our possible time of harvesting should be December 1st or 2nd week. In an ideal situation, you will discover that one hive can give you up to 20 liters or more in a good environment. Can give you up to 20 liters or more. So a liter of honey currently now is above 15,000. I have some friends that are selling 18,000. Some are selling 213, depending. The demand is so high, you cannot satisfy the demand. I told you earlier that Nigeria imports honey worth over $2 billion to the country. The statistics are there. And we consume over 400 tons of honey and produce just 10%. So beekeepers are scarce in Nigeria. In Nigeria, professional beekeepers are scarce. What you get mainly are honey hunters. And the honey hunters, they use other means to try the habitats of these bees and kill them. Use chemicals. So in the process, what you get is adulterated honey that is very dangerous. So what we're trying to do now is professional beekeeping. Then we keep these bees for our sustenance and keep them in such a way that it will help us to protect our environment. Without bees, the honey will collapse. But the moment you get this honey harvested, you sell it by this time, it's likely we harvest by December, and about 20 liters or more. And you discover also that you harvest again in March 2025. And in a season, we harvest 2 times or more. In a good environment, you can get more than 30, 40, depending. 15,000. A good hive can last for over 10 years. You have no maintenance. You're not feeding the bees, you're not giving them water. They fly, get what they want, and build what they want in the hive. So you see that compared with other forms of agriculture, maintenance and costs of production is very minimal. Everything about beekeeping is profit. Talk of the wax. The wax is a product of the bees that has over 350 colonies. Globally, companies so many pharmaceutical drugs. Here we use wax for production of cream, soap, vitamins, so many things, casting of artificial teeth. We use it for wood furnishing. You use it for candle making, for so many other things, production of electrical insulators. Then talk of the propolis. The propolis is so wonderful. It's antibiotic, antiviral, antifungi, so many other things that it takes care of. We have a bee venom. People use bee venom for the treatment of nervous system diseases, treatment of so many things. An aspect of beekeeping called therapy. Aspect of beekeeping. They use bee venom for the treatment of so many sicknesses. So it's very good. We have the big venom, so the product you can go online. A gram of royal jelly is about $25. It's available. Currently now, what is giving most beekeepers money now is the bee venom. 1 gram of bee venom is about $30 in Kenya. The market is very cheap. That's the biggest market now in beekeeping in the world. People are utilizing this opportunity. So now, beekeeping is very simple. Technically, it's very simple. There's not much in it. The only thing that is required for us to overcome the fear. There are so many superstitious beliefs about bees over here. So by the time you know that bees are very friendly, very accommodating, and they understand you, there will be this communication between you and the bees. Most people say the bees can attack and kill. Yes, it's true. When you are very trained, friend.
Oh, yes. Imagine.
We're listening, sir.
The bees are friends of the environment. And as beekeepers, we are also friends of the environment. So apart from the product we listed earlier, we also have pollination services. In US today, beekeepers are paid heavily by the government for the pollination services they do. The pollination cannot be quantified, the advantage of pollination. And that is why anywhere you have bee colonies, agricultural production tends to increase. Fruits yield more and better. Because when you have more abundance of bee pollination of bees in an environment, pollination services are increased. I told you earlier, over 80% of agricultural activities depends on bees for pollination. 95% of plants depend on pollination of bees. So the economic and environmental advantage of bees can be emphasized. So we encourage everybody around to come into beekeeping. It's an industry that's exciting. It's very cheap. The qualities are very low. The cost of product, the ingredients are very simple. Some are made here locally. Some are made here locally. The equipments are made locally. And it's cheap. One hive with 20, 30, 40,000, you can get a good hive. 40, you can get a good hive with a hive that can last for less than 10 years. And also help people to reduce the intake of sugar. When you have quality honey around in a home, there are so many things it can do for you. And the demands for bee products are increasing every day by day. So the beekeeping industry is huge. And therefore, I encourage every one of us here to go into it because it has a lot of advantages. And at this juncture, I don't know, most of us who have questions and are free to raise your questions so that we can answer it. You know, I'm not having any book here when I'm talking. Nothing comes to my mind. The main emphasis here is to activate and arouse people's interest to go into it as a profession. Overseas, people live in universities.
Okay. Can we ask questions now, sir? Can we ask questions?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Clement is raising his hand. Please, you have the floor. Mr. Clement, you can unmute yourself and ask.
Yeah, good day, everyone. I'm Clement. I'm calling in from Italy. So my question is, drawn from what the speaker have been saying on comparing the beehive culture in Nigeria with that of the Western world. Then I now want to ask the few beehive farmers in Imo State, for instance, what is the effort they are making also to expand their business? Is there have effort of not just inviting more new startups, but also thinking of way of inviting investors or individuals who might have interest to invest in their businesses. So, as there are opportunities, for instance, you are a beekeeper. Would you accept someone who want to invest, no matter how little, in your business, and and accept that person as an investor to assist in the expansion of your business?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yes, that's my.
Okay. Yeah. You know, over here, we made efforts in the past. I'm president of the past. We made efforts in the past to get the attention of the government because what we're talking about is not something an individual can do. Some years back, the former governor, in here, constituted the state steering committee for sustainable production. And I was the technical advisor then. So it was, we were meant to go to my World Food Exhibition where we are supposed to showcase Imo State honey. And the target then was, there was a loan we got from Central Bank, about 500 million from Central Bank. And that money was meant for the expansion of honey. The intention is to make Imo State the hallmark of honey production in Nigeria and also export. So we were billed to be in Dubai, February that year, to exhibit Imo honey. And the intention is to get investors that will buy our honey. And the plan was to establish about 10,000 Ngobala and Okigwe. But unfortunately, the governor was. So since then, we've been trying to reach the present, the government now to see if they can be of help and help us. Because when we are talking about beekeeping, we are talking about sustainable environmental protection. People are exploiting the environment today because of poverty, looking for firewood and doing one or other things. A lot of unemployment, high level of unemployment in our state. So the economic activities is not so buoyant here. And beekeeping is an activity that can engage our youth so that they can stop the destruction of the forest environment. Somebody that has 20 hives, you don't need any other job, but to supply what you need in a sustainable manner. So we'll be making effort, and we are free and open for any investor who will come in. And so long as the condition will not be biting now, if it and encourage people to come into it, it doesn't involve much capital, just little. What we need now is sensitization. A lot of people are not aware that bees can be kept for economic and environmental purposes. So we welcome any idea, suggestion, and support from every angle. The essence is to help people to promote the environment and to conserve our God-given vegetation and environment for the purpose of posterity. So we are open to have people around. We are also talking with the government. By this week, we intend to see the Commissioner for Agriculture in Imo State because they told us during the last World Bee Day on the 28th of May that we should come so that they will see how the governor can partner with us, especially in the area of capacity building. What the people need now more is the training. And we are here to support and give them the technical support they need. So we are open for support and investment or investors at any level. I hope I have handled that question.
Okay, someone is asking a question here. A person says, how and where can I keep my hives? How and where can I keep my hives? That's the question.
Yes, you need an assistant. You know, everything will not end on this Zoom meeting. The essence of this meeting is to stimulate interest. You need a professional to tell you where. But over here, it is advisable, if you have a farm, you can keep your hive in the farm, just at one corner. In your house, assuming you are living in a village and you have a very large expanse of land, compound, you can keep one hive. But you know, in the town, we are living in cluster, so close. So you can't keep hives here. It's not as if the bees will not enter. It's not as if the bees will not enter. But because of the risk of attack, it can attack your neighbors, even attack you yourself that is keeping it. So, but if you want to keep hive, you consult. We give free extension services. We don't collect money. If you invite me, you have a farm, you invite me, I'll come and do it too. I send my boss to do it for you because this is what we are doing to help ourselves. I have received some of this training abroad free of charge. So it is my duty to also reciprocate such. So when it comes to beekeeping extension, apart from you buying the material, we don't collect money for capacity building. It's free of charge. So if you ask us, we have boys who are on ground to assist you, keep your bees, possibly during harvesting. in that case, you give them small token for them to harvest the honey for you. And also in the process, you learn. So it's a professional area to determine how and where you do your hives.
Wow. Thank you so very much, sir. It's good to know that you're offering these free services to as many as would want to have their own beehives. I think someone was raising up his hand. Mr. Clement Shedoze is raising up his hand. You can unmute yourself, Mr. Clement, and ask your questions. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I was the first person that asked a question. And I think he has answered. But then what is now left is maybe after the program, we'll talk with you and also with him to see how possible investors can invest into the business.
Yeah. Okay. I hear you. Like last year, one of our friends based in Washington, sponsored a 2-day intensive honeybee training program. Federal Secretary here, and about 50 hives to participants free of charge. Consider the training program. This is through Beekeeping State. So it was on last year, December 15th, 15th and 16th, 2003. Federal Secretary. I constructed 50 hives. It's based in US. And it came down that period. The audience, and the people that got those who have been monitoring, visiting them, to encourage them to probably go into the art of beekeeping. So these are some of the ways we can be encouraged in this area. A lot of people, over here, a lot of thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. There are more questions. I have my own questions to ask. I am looking at, if you have questions, kindly type in the chat, okay? Your questions will be attended to. Okay. So does that mean that anyone and everyone can actually start beekeeping? Can anyone and everyone start doing beekeeping? Can start rearing bees? Okay, is it possible that everyone and anyone can rear bees? That is one question. Yeah. And number 2 question is, after rearing them, how do we know that they are ready for harvest? How do we know that our beehives have, the bees have generated enough honey and now is ready for harvest?
Yes. Beekeeping is gender age inclusive. Anybody can be involved in beekeeping so long as you get the required training. And for knowing when the bees is ready for harvest, I told you earlier, assuming we keep our hives by this time, this is May, we keep our hive today, the possible time for harvesting is by December. So most times, there are certain indications you will see. For instance, you come, normally the bees normally stay in the hive. But when you come and see that the majority of the population of the bees are outside, you know that that place is filled up because, honey generates heat. So you see the population of bees outside. It's an indication most times, although it can mean other things too. But in most cases, it means that that place is filled up and ready for harvest. Secondly, where you keep bees, you may discover that the bees are calm and quiet. But any moment you see them attacking people, any moment you see them being so much aggressive, it's also an indication that the bees are ready for harvesting. Yeah, the honey is ready for harvesting. But in all, it is good for you to meet a professional beekeeper. Because you who is ready for harvesting, Once it closes December, first, second week, we are into harvesting immediately. We don't even need to go most times flowering from August. So by December, the bees have started making honey. Even if you open it and there's not enough, you can still keep it and come back next time. So it's easy. Anybody can be involved in beekeeping, whether a man, woman, or a child. But the most important thing that you have the technicalities involved, because bees have different characteristics. You need to study the bees. Each particular bee colony has its own unique characteristics. It's not like any other agricultural venture. You need to know these bees and know how to attend to them so that they don't attack you. It's not how it can be risky at times. So that at the end of the day, once you are equipped with knowledge, you can handle the bees the way you want. There are old, and another thing I'll tell you, the European bees, American bees, and so many other bees, most of them are not as aggressive as African bees. There are also stingless bees found all over the world. So when you see some people playing with some of these bees, some of them are stingless. African bees are very aggressive, and therefore it is required that you need somebody that has been handled by an European now cannot come and begin to tell you about African bee. Maybe he's used to harvesting bees in America or in Europe. When you're dealing with African bees, you need to have somebody that is dealing with a person that is within the environment that also deals with the bee, who will teach you more, because it varies from location to a location. Our experiences vary from place to place because of geographical differences. So it's better for one to be properly equipped. One need to be taught properly. You don't just jump into beekeeping, or maybe you read into literature and the next day you start practicing. No, it's risky. So like I said earlier, we offer beekeeping extension free of charge. We just invite us. If it's a place that is so far, maybe you give us transport, we'll come there and do it for you, free of charge. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so very much. So
Yeah.
after this webinar, you mean after this webinar, we can't just start our beekeeping activities?
Yeah, and this is the right time. Yes.
Okay, we can start, right? Now, for someone who wants to start after this webinar, what do you advise? How do we get our beehives? There are materials we need, right?
Yeah, what you need basically now is the beehive.
What are the basic materials that are needed? Must I have a land? Okay, if I'm going to get a beehive, how much should I budget for it? Am I supposed? Are there other things I need? Okay.
Yes. If you want to start the bee farming, what you need first of all, you need a place. The land may not necessarily belong to you. If you have a friend that has a land, you can just go because it will not interrupt with the farming activities. If you have, there are abandoned land area in various places that are not used for anything. You just go there, maybe consult one or two and put your hives. And what you need now to start is a beehive. A good beehive is between 25, depending on the quality, things are changing now. 30, 35, 40, depending on the quality of wood. We have the iron stand. We use iron stand for the stand. Iron is expensive. Before now, it used to be 20, 25. But in recent time, things change. So it should be 35, 40. But before now, it's about 20,000. You get a standard hive that will last for the next 10 years. So your production for the next 10 years is assured with a good hive. So what you need is now hive. Then during the harvesting period, if you want to learn or participate in the harvesting process, you now need to get your bee smoker and coverall for your protection. But meanwhile, the first thing you do is the hive. Then at the end, during harvesting period, as those who are interested, you get your bee coverall, bee suit, and your smoker. We use the smoker to calm the bee so that you can pack the honey. So that's what we need, basically.
Thank you so very much. For someone who wants to get these materials, we can contact you for it, right?
No problem, it's available.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Clement is raising up his hand and would want to ask either a question or make a contribution. Let's hear you. Please, everyone else can be free to ask questions, because the essence of this webinar is to inspire us. Beyond just inspiring us, is for us to be able to start something, okay? Because we believe that a food-sufficient society is possible. And when you and I begin to do something, when you and I begin to produce honey, begin to produce other bee products, when you and I begin to cultivate something, when you and I begin to wear something, then we are on our way to becoming sufficient. And of course, becoming secure. So please feel free to ask questions. I know that beekeeping is one of the easiest farming practices we can actually engage on, and it is highly rewarding, very highly rewarding. It's not like livestock or crops that you have to, buy a lot of input and the rest of them. So please, after now, we are expecting that there will be more beekeepers, so we can have more healthier honeys. A lot of things that we call honey out there actually not honey. So please, the more questions we ask, the better we know that we are set to starting something. So please feel free to ask your questions, and I'm sure that our expert here is willing to answer. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Clay.
Yeah, my other question is, for instance, someone that has a plot of land and wants to use that plot of land for extensive bee keeping. Like, what's the quantity or the amount of beehives that the person or the farmer can keep in a plot of land?
Okay. Yeah, we in a plot of land, because of the distance, if it were to be other type of bees, especially those in plenty of, or here in African bees, we give them enough space. So between 10 and 15 hives. He brought his 50 feet by 100 of land, 50 feet by 100, between 10 and 15 hives for one plot of land. It's a hectare. We are talking about over 100 hives. That is 100 meter by 100 meter. Because our bees are grapefruit, so there should be a distance between from one hive or between one hive and another. So that's why we give it enough space between 10 and 15. When it is too crowded, it makes harvesting process very difficult. The bees will be attacking from left to right. So at 10 and 15, 10 to 15 hives, it is ideal. And that level, 15 hives is at a commercial level. It's not a small level. Assuming the production is at the optimal level, and maybe they're giving you between 15 and 20 liters of honey times 10, you're talking about close to 200 liters of honey in a good environment. So when you have more than one plot, you're talking about, let's 2 plus should be about 30 hives, which is a very high commercial production. So 15 hives for one plot is enough for us over here. But bees are very aggressive, so they need distance from one hive to another hive.
Okay.
Sir, thank you. Mr. Francis was raising up his hand, but I noticed his audio wasn't connected. Mr. Francis, if your audio is connected, kindly ask your question now. While we are waiting for Mr. Francis, someone was asking, what are the challenges? What are the challenges in beekeeping?
Yes. Some of the challenges of beekeeping currently, first of all, one of the major challenges we have is lack of awareness, lack of training. We don't have skilled manpower in beekeeping. Like I said earlier, the beekeeping industry is underutilized and untapped over here. So we lack professional. Then the second major reason, challenge we have is deforestation. And it is affecting productivity. People are destroying the forest. You know, I told you earlier, bees feed on flower nectar and pollen to produce honey. A lot of people are destroying the forest for production of charcoal and firewood. And it is a big challenge for us over here. In fact, it's the major challenge. Another major challenge is climate change. You can watch now, the climate is changing, but it is not an issue. with good afforestation program, we can mitigate some of this problem. Our major problem in beekeeping now is lack of awareness, and secondly, deforestation of the environment. People are destroying the environment, using chemicals, using fire, and so many other things. So, and bees are very sensitive. Once these things are introduced within the environment, either it kills them or they run away. So that's the major challenge. And we are doing all our best to educate the people on the need to conserve these bees. Because without bees, this planet will collapse. According to Albert Einstein, so many years ago, he said that if the bees are eliminated, it take only 4 years for mankind to survive. So without it, we will have a very big problem, a challenge in agriculture. A lot of people are not aware of this. So people are environment, and they have the same profession. We should be encouraged to go into it. No matter if it can be a topic, it can be anything. It'll take your time. The only day you spend time is the time of harvesting. Having the bush, go there once in a while. I go there 2 times in a year, because you are not doing anything for the bees. You feed them, you are not giving them water. In terms of protection, they protect themselves and people that come there. So you can see that you don't have you are not wasting time. So you must keep bees to produce quality honey. Most of the honey you see around are sugar syrup that people are consuming here and there. When you have good honey, people will look for you and get it at all cost. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, sir. Thank you. Now, why should we rear bees apart from the honey and other products that we can get from bees? Are there other benefits why we should rear bees?
Yes. The pollination services cannot be quantified. You know, beekeeping, bees are the only remaining pollinators that we have in the world. Most of the butterflies are gone, grasshoppers are gone. So the major pollinators we have now is the bees. And without bees, the agricultural sector will have serious problems. Bees are responsible for conservation of biodiversity. Bees are responsible for pollination of 85% of all agricultural crops. Bees are responsible for 95% of all agricultural crops, all white plants in forest. So they are very, very important for man's survival. So a beekeeper, like I told you earlier, is a friend of the environment. And therefore, people should be encouraged to keep bees for our own good and the good environment and the future generation to come.
Awesome. Thank you so very much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bees are our friends, and we should do all we can to ensure we rear enough bees if we must keep having food. Okay, someone is asking, if one joins beekeeping, do the person make profit? That is, if one starts beekeeping as a business, will the person make profit?
Yes.
That's what Ngozi just asked.
Yeah. Beekeeping is highly profitable. Highly, highly profitable. We've been talking about honey, honey, honey. Other products are even more expensive than the honey itself. Bees are highly profitable. Remember, there is no other cost of production. The bees itself, you attract the bees from the forest, from the wild. You are not buying the bees. The only thing you buy is the beehive. And like I said earlier, a good hive can give you up to 20 liters of honey for the first harvest. And you know, we harvest 2 times in a season. And the season over here for us starts from November till March or April. So within this period, you can have either 2 times or 3 times. In a good environment, you can make up to 20 liters of honey. A liter of honey now, like what I said now, is 15,000 naira for a liter. So when you are making 10 liters, only 10 liters, you have 150,000. 20 liters, you have 300,000 naira. Then maybe you have 20 hives, calculated by the number of hives. Then, you know, there is production of wax. You are getting pollen, you are getting propolis, all of them from the same hive. And remember, you are not buying the bees. Bees come naturally from the forest, from the environment. Bees are everywhere. If you are to be in Europe or America, you buy the bee in a nucleus box, small box, and introduce them to a hive. But here in Africa, the bees are everywhere. So what you do is to get a bait or an attractant, introduce it into the box, and the bees come naturally and dwell in the box and start production. So it is highly professional. And secondly, labor. In terms of labor, you are not putting much in. Like I told you, the only day you spend time is the day of harvesting. You are not feeding. Like poultry, you buy drug, buy feed, buy water, construct house, nothing. For beekeeping, everything in beekeeping, the first year of farming, you get all your investment times 2 or times 3. All things being equal. The products are highly in high demand. The market is there.
Wow. Wow, thank you. Beekeeping business is highly profitable. So if you're thinking of another side hustle to do, consider beekeeping. All right. Madam Jovita Agui is raising her hand. Please, ma'am, kindly unmute yourself. The floor is open for you.
Yeah, I'm unmuted. Hello, everybody. I joined a little late. I'm sorry about that, but I just want to ask one question. I hope that has not been addressed. I mean, this beekeeping is one very exciting, business that I've been, looking at going into. But one question is, for me that sort of I don't know much about it. I am worried about the safety and security of the hives, not from people around, but from those that probably install it. So I bring in someone, the person installs for me, and I don't know how comfortable I will be, knowing that, it's just those people that have access to it or that can harvest it and all that. So that's a challenge for me. So how safe is it actually when you have when you're not able to harvest it, and then there are people that are aware that you have beehives in in certain locations? Thank you. I hope that makes sense, though. Thank you.
Yeah, I had you clear. The issue is that beekeeping, like I told you earlier, it requires a lot of training, and it depends on the person that trains you. If I invite somebody to come and install a hive for you, it has not. If you have passion and interest in beekeeping aspects, the process of installation of hive very easy. As the person is doing it, you are watching him. The process of saying, since you have the passion, you get your coverall. The bees are very friendly. The moment you get used to bees, get to know their biology, get to know their behavior, you tend to play with them as well. The issue is that it is not enough for us to install the hive. Installation of the hive also requires for you to be trained. Anytime the person comes around you for one operation or the other, you use the opportunity to learn. Or it cannot take you less than 6 months to get everything you need in beekeeping. What you need is just that courage. Face the bee squarely. Get your protective wares. We have our coverall. Once you pitch it on, there's nothing to fear. The person that comes to install, you learn from him. And if it is not enough, you can even give him explanation. It is very easy to learn. There is nothing to be of. We have been beekeeping. I've boss for 15 years that we are doing. I will send you a video of a boy of 13, 14 years of farming. He has never visited there before, but we successfully harvested the hive and nothing. Because those small little boys and girls there at the flyer, they have been involved in harvesting or the one harvest or the other. So, as a mature person, I don't think once the passion and interest is there, you get to know about beekeeping within 1 year. We have female beekeepers everywhere. If you even learn more, I have a student in Futo here, 3 of them, who are professional in this area. Being a woman, you can learn easily from them. It's very easy. There's nothing involved. What we need is just proper training and expose all this to beekeeping. We expose everything as it is. We don't have anything to hide. We know that bees are very friendly insects. So you have nothing to fear. If you want to delve into beekeeping as a business, feel free. We are here to encourage you. Like I told you, our services It's free. We're not collecting anything apart from the materials you buy, smoker, this, you pay for it. But when you come, the service is free. So we are using this opportunity to encourage people to go into it. There are very few beekeepers. In Imo State, the professional beekeepers are up to 50 persons. The whole of Imo State. They are not up to 50. Others are into local honey hunting. They use a sniper and fire to destroy the bee colonies. That was beekeeping. Professional beekeepers in Imo State are very few. Even in Nigeria, very, very few. So we encourage you to go. Don't be afraid. We are here to support you.
Thank you so very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you for clearing out that.
Yeah.
Dr. Chinyere is asking a question. She says, if I keep my beehives, what can trigger? Okay, I think what can trigger it? I think she means the bees. If I keep my beehive, what can trigger the bees to escape and begin to bite people? Her fear is those. And that means that takes me to a question I wanted to ask concerning the basic bee communication and behavior that a beginner needs to know. Okay. Yes, there's always a first time we need to start. We may not become an expert at the initial time, but there are basic things we need to know. Okay. And if I'm doing beekeeping as a business, how long should what's the duration of time? You know, like how long should I leave my beehive, or how often should I check my beehive to know if the honey is ready? Is it like every 2 months, 3 months, or 4 months? Okay. Thank you.
So the issue is that bees, you don't wherever you keep your hive, it's advised that you don't go there to disturb them from time to time, especially when the intensity of the sun is so high. And that's why most times we normally go to the beehive early morning or in the evening when the temperature is calm. When the temperature is very high, the bees tend to be very, very aggressive. They don't like noise. So that place you keep the bees should be devoid of noise, devoid of pollution, and devoid December first harvest. And March, second harvest. So it depends on the location. Where you
I guess he's having calls and is interrupting the network. Can you hear us, Mr. Ima? Hello, sir. Okay. Okay. Can we hear him now? All right. Mr. Clement, I saw your hands up. You can ask your question, or has your question been taken care of?
No, I want to ask a question from what Mrs. Jovita asked, which the speaker didn't elaborate more better on that for me. I think so. That's the security of the beehives. I think that's what Mrs. Jovita was asking. I think she installed a beehive. What are the possibilities that local bee hunters would not go overnight to harvest from the beehives?
In every community, the traditional bee hunters, and for instance, if I visit a place now, like in my village, if you go to my community now, Ezike, we have about 2 bee hunters. What we do normally, they don't normally a real bee hunter. They cannot touch life. Go and say, this is what we are doing. Normally, people are afraid to go to a beehive. The only person that will have the gut to go to any beehive, traditional bee hunter, and they are known in every community. So like my farm in Umago here, the first time I visited my hive at Umago, I established my farm. I had to see the bee hunters. There were 4, and told them, no. And they say no, they don't touch the beehives. They normally go for the wild ones. So anybody that goes to a beehive should be somebody that is used to bees. Traditionally, people are afraid to visit any beehive. So it's not a problem. We've not had such problem anywhere, apart from some places like in the town here, where some of these Fulani people used to carry, I don't condemn, carry, they carry hives, carry, but in other rural areas, I don't think that's such thing because, even at the rural area, they see beekeeping as a sacred skill. People that are involved in beekeeping, most of them they know the hive, do not have such experience at all. So, anybody that visits the beehive should be a professional bee.
Okay. Thank you. I hope your question has been answered, Mr. Clement. Sir, I want to ask a question. What if in the process of keeping our beehive, the bee stings us? Is there something, should we really bother much? Is there an antidote to bee stings? Or are there benefits to bee stinging us?
Yeah,
I once said that it's good for bee to sting you. I don't know how true that is.
These things are good for us in a limited. This thing, bee venom, is good for us. But most times, as a professional too, once you are protected, you get 1 or 2 things beneficial to your body system. But most times, when you get too much, there's no medicine. Take honey to put down. Take a little honey and rub that place with honey. But if it is 1 or 2, venom is good for you as a human being. So from that, it's advisable you go and take some these things to help you also take your body system. It's not a problem. You should not be afraid to take any risk. There's no occupation in life without hazard and risk. So it's a normal thing. Beekeeping is very interesting. Even the only disadvantage is the attack, the bee stings. But I can tell you, I don't think we've had such thing over the years. The moment you are properly trained, you don't need to fear. Nothing will attack you. You don't want to them and their account. So it calls for training.
Wow. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Please, I'm sure a lot of persons would want to ask a lot of other questions, especially regarding setting up their own beehives. So if you don't mind, kindly drop your number, your phone number, so that you can be contacted after now.
Okay. Okay, my office is at Suite 304 Jukebox Mall, behind Westbrook Hotel, off Port Harcourt Road, New Owerri. My number is 0708 333 4703. Or
Please, can you repeat it again so that those that didn't get it can get it?
0708 333 4703. 0708 333 4703. Yeah. Our office is at Suite 304 Jukebox Mall, behind Westbrook Hotel. That's where we have Honeybee Resource Center. We offer free extension services. And all the beekeeping equipment and materials right there. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so very much, sir. Thank you so very much, everyone. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, those who are around should, if you are willing or within or where, you come to the office and take free sample of honey. You are free. Those who are around, if you're around over, you can come to the shop and take free samples of honey, so that you know the difference between what we produce and what you see outside. You know, we just celebrated World Bee Day on the 20th of May. So we gave out free honey samples for participants and people around. So it's still extended to some of you in the platform. If you are within or worry, you can
Wow.
come to the office and have a taste of natural honey and be able to see all the things and the equipment we use in beekeeping. You will appreciate it more when you come around.
Wow, wow, wow. This is an offer I must collect. So I'm coming to pick my own free honey. All right, we want to say a very big thank you to everyone for joining in this webinar on beekeeping. Thank you so very much, sir, for your time, for covering a whole range of topics. And of course, with the information we've learned, I'm certain that a lot of us can start our own beekeeping businesses, or even we can, if we want, we can start it as a hobby. Now, beekeeping is not just a rewarding hobby or business, it's a crucial activity that supports biodiversity. It enhances agricultural productivity. And in fact, that is actually the main focus, the main reason we are bringing it up here in Agric Inspire. And of course, it helps to sustain our ecosystems. And so as you embark on or continue your beekeeping journey, remember that responsible and informed practices are key to success. So I hope this section has provided you with valuable insights and practical knowledge to start or improve your beekeeping efforts. For further learning, you can explore the resources. You can contact the number we shared earlier, or you can contact me and we'll share more with you. So thank you once again for your participation. Happy beekeeping. Finally, it's important for you to know that this webinar is brought to you by Pelox Integrated Modern Farm Limited. We are passionate about creating a food sufficient society, and this is our own contribution in making this happen. You acting in what you have learned will make our joyful and of course help us become a food sufficient society. We have a range of other products. We have we help people set up farms. So if you have lands and you want to set up your farms, contact us, we'll do that for you. Our other products include we have our Pelox organic chicken, we have our Davila dried fish, we have also the fresh fish, we have soya bean, we have Davila mixed flour, and a whole lot of other products. Even your red oil, if you're thinking of getting good red palm oil, you can contact us. So our contact number is here, and if you don't mind, you can take it right away. I can call it. Yeah, Collins, yes, you must collect your sample when you come to Owerri, no problem. I'll make sure that Mr. Ima gives you your own sample. So our contact number is 0806-400-9050, or you can send us an email on pimfarmlimited@gmail.com. Until our next edition, it's bye for now.
Jesus. Leave Uzieno.